Do ghosts really exist? Are we alone? Is there life after death?
It looks like a giant ape with a man's face.
Hey, folks. Great to be here. Hope that you're doing great. This is Chasing the Truth, and I'm Shawn Graham on board for the Dark Waters over on the Paranormal Radio app. Dark Waters channel. Plus over here on my own channel, Chasing the Truth, Shawn G. And I'd like to give a shout out to Josh running Paranormal Security 9886. I just had a quick chat with him. And God bless you, brother, if you're listening. Well, he said he would be, but anyway. Folks, the one thing that I literally, give thanks for is God for this show. He popped it in my lap, and I kind of said nope about 2 or 3 times. And on the third time, old James from Dark Waters himself said, hey, you need to do a podcast. And I said, okay, why not? I didn't have anything to do. Had the means to do it, and here I am. 3 years later, and here's Chasing the Truth on my own channel, and still over on the Paranormal Radio app on the Dark Waters channel. I'm not over on Dark Waters tonight, as you can see, but I will be this Saturday night. We'll do another open lines. Oh, there you are. Yeah, Paranormal Security 886. That boy's right there in the middle of it. Hey, Josh, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Now, tonight, as always, well, not always, but last 2 shows, this is the second show I've done here on my own, Chasing the Truth. And tonight I'm going to do open lines, unscreened open lines, and for paranormal, anything paranormal, UFO, cryptid, dogman, Bigfoot, alien encounters, metaphysics. If you're a woo-woo kind of person, I want to hear from you. 931-994-6917. If you're over on the Skype, it's Chasing the Truth 2018. All those fine folks. Please, if you like the show, like it, subscribe if you love it. Share it out to your dog, your cat, your neighbor, the lady or the man that runs by. Shout it out on the streets and whatever. But I want to thank Miss T, my beloved, the love of my life, for helping me out with this old show. I guess new now. New for here, old if you call it 2, well, I guess we're getting on 3 years now. Crazy as it is. But definitely share it out. Hey, B. Moss. There you are. What's going on? Thanks for the little impromptu chat earlier. And I'm going to give you a wrench. So there you go. B. Moss is now a moderator over there. Say hello to Paranormal Security 986 in the chat. That's Josh running over there. And I think he said he's doing part-time fire watch or something like that on his job. Steve Riley, what's going on? Now, tonight what I'm trying to do is, reach out to you. You, the listener, you, the person that has those wild, true stories. I'm not looking for creepypasta. You can go anywhere else to look for creepypasta. I want those wild, cool, true stories of the, if you tell anybody else, is it unbelievable? Is it, I don't know. Could you get by with it? Is one of those fireside chats that, hey, after you had a beer, you won't believe what happened to me. Well, one of the discussions, I'm going to wait a couple of seconds and get this. Bass Mayhem. Hey, brother, what's going on? What's up? What is up? Miss T's in there. Hey there, what's going on? And what are you drinking tonight? Tonight is medium dark roast. I think I got McCafe. I believe I do. What are you guys drinking? What kind of adult beverage you got going on there? But anyway, I got permission from Josh Runyon from Paranormal Security 9886 to play a couple of audio rips from a couple of his videos, just to get the ball rolling, to kind of show you what some of this crazy stuff is going on. Hey, Christina, what's going on down there in Florida? I guess that's how you pronounce it down in Florida. Florida. Let's see. And if my sister's listening, Robin, hey, hope that you're having a good vacation and that food that you've been posting is awesome. You need to remember your brother and bring a doggy back. So, wow. Hey, Josh, is that, you said something about your city, Savannah, Georgia, the people that do are having to, I think if you mess with the public or do anything with the public, that you have to wear a mask. Is that a mask mandate? Is that all over? Everybody have to do that, or just the people that do the mask, or do the public, or is everybody involved in that? But anyway, now since I've got a few people that's piling in here, what I'm going to do is Josh Runyon from Paranormal Security 986. He gave me permission to, I got a couple of things that he has done in the past. And if you don't believe some of this stuff, he does some crazy hunts, ghost hunts, paranormal hunts, whatever you want to call it. And I have been following him for a couple of years now, I guess. He's been on my show, I think 3 times now, something like that. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. I might have something going on here in my audio. I apologize right here. Let's see. Oh, yep. Let me turn this off. This might help. Apologize for that. I've been messing with some stuff on the back end, and I messed with the pitch. So this should help out a little bit right there. So this should help my voice sound a little more natural. So the audio should be back at it. Now, anyway, Josh Runyon from Paranormal Security 986, he gave me permission to share a couple of, I guess you would call, maybe some EVPs. Definitely some crazy stuff. One, I've got 2 up on the hitching post here ready to throw out to you. One, I think, was from a couple of years ago, maybe a bit longer. But he used to do security work for this Catholic cemetery graveyard mausoleum. And he had some issues with the chapel, with stuff going on and lights turning on and off in the middle of the night when there should not be anybody there. So he goes in to the church in the middle of this graveyard in the middle of the night with the lights flickering. I think this was, no, this one right here was, well, I don't know if he's going to call him. I think he's going to call him, but here's the first one. This is him getting into the mausoleum/church.
I'm really not sure what's going on here. Nope. Yeah, I'm done. This is some spooky going on here. Nope.
Yeah, could you do that? Could you get into that, into security work on a frickin' mausoleum/cemetery graveyard, and you hear that screaming at you that there's nobody in there? Now, you can go over to his channel, which I don't know if he's got that particular video up, but hold on just a second. I got it. Got his channel right here. Pretty sure this is it. I'm going to post it there in the chat. This is, yeah, I think this is it. This is Josh's link to his Paranormal Security 986. But again, he goes into a mausoleum to check out what's going on in there. And this is what happens. I'll replay it.
I'm really not sure what's going on here. Nope. Yeah, I'm done. This is some spooky going on here. Nope.
That was Josh Runyon from Paranormal Security 986. He's in the chat there. That was from, I think, a couple of years ago when he was doing some TikTok videos. I think this was off his TikTok account that he did this. And he walked in to check out a cemetery's little, it's like a mausoleum, and walks in to check out what was going on in there, and this disembodied voice screams, "Get out." Now, that being said, I just want to prime the pump a little bit for the folks out there that, does some crazy stuff. Have encountered crazy stuff, have encountered, if you have encountered Dogman, Bigfoot, ghosts, aliens. Actually, I had that conversation with Miss T, love of my life, about what we have both seen in the past. And it is kind of wild. And the videos and stuff that she has shared with me, the videos I've shared with her and all this other stuff. But, look there, Jean-Paul, salut. Brother, what's going on? Dark Waters family is always welcome here. So, Wendy, what's going on? 2 years ago. Now, let's go ahead and pop this last one up. This is... Josh, I may have not, you're listening. I may have said I was going to play a video, but what I did was I took the audio off of it, since this, I need to do a little bit more video playing versus audio, but as of right now, this is a wild audio. Now, I don't know if that makes sense. That didn't make sense. Anyway, it's Wednesday night, and I need a caller, but like I said, Josh Runyon has been doing, this is here recently, last few months, Paranormal Radio, Paranormal Security 986. Oh, there we go. Hey, Connor Flynn, what's going on, brother? Connor Flynn, can you hear me? Going once? Connor? Hello? Can you hear me, brother? Let's see if I got this thing set up the way it should be. It should be, I think, set up the correct way. It's audio settings, input, yeah. Build it, well, default device. There you go. Hey, can you hear me? Well, let me call him back on the other. This is not working over on this section. Let me do this. Let's go over here and hang up on him. I'll call you right back, Connor. I apologize. Something's going over on my Mac Mini. I don't know what to say with that. But I'm going to turn this audio off. And then go to Connor Flynn on this end. And then we'll call him over here. Hopefully I can get him in touch with it here now. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that, folks. Some technical difficulty. Hey, Connor, can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what could you hear me on the other end? I don't think you could have, but as crazy as it is.
No, I couldn't, but then I hopped on the live and then I just heard silence. So thank God, you were able to call back.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the way it is with some of these things. I'm going to have to figure out what that is on that other one, but that's all right. I've got 2 Skype things going on there. And definitely some weird stuff. So what's going on down in Florida? Have you been doing some Bigfoot hunting? Or I did see that you posted a pygmy rattlesnake video yesterday, I think.
Yes, I was doing some adventuring the past few days. I went to this place called the Iron Bridge, where there's no more bridge, but there is still a troll that lurks nearby. And it's right off of Highway 73, where Donnie Miller had his famous Sasquatch encounter that was all over Sasquatch Chronicles and Bigfoot Odyssey. But he saw some massive creature that's bigger than about 10 feet tall. So I think the troll and the Sasquatch have, combined stories over time. But yeah, I was investigating down these dark dirt roads, and I ended up finding a pygmy rattlesnake, which I've been manifesting for 2 months, just looking at all these pictures and videos on Facebook groups. I'm like, I need to see a live one. And luckily I did, and made a video up close and personal, and it was a blast.
Wow, that's interesting. So have you been to any more crazy conventions or anything? I know that you posted quite a number of videos from the last one you did.
Yeah, I still have a couple videos to release of that, but I'm not any since the Florida Bigfoot Conference, but I have reserved a camping spot for the Squatchin' Cowboys and Manimal Research's Squatch Out up in Tennessee. And I am so stoked, man, because Expedition Bigfoot, it's a museum. I've driven past it back when I was road tripping, and we never stopped. And that has eaten me up for about 3 to 4 years now. And we're driving right past it this time. And I want to get my ticket tomorrow. You know, I have my spot reserved. So, I'm so excited.
Oh, wow. So, have you actually seen a Bigfoot, or what's going on with,
Yeah, yes, I have seen them. I have photographed them. I have recorded their howls, and I've seen a dog man. And that's what I wanted to call in and tell you guys about my first encounter with a dog man. We named him the Wolfman of Sleepy Hollow, and it was right by my buddy Alex's house. And he lived at this place called Sleepy Hollow that was this dense terrain, and there was an abandoned drive-in theater and a swimming, like, I want to say pool, but it was an outdoor swimming pool. So it was kind of more like a spring, but it had cement outer rim and like a diving board. But it was a magical place one time, and then it fell to ruin, and then the woods overcame it. But yeah, I saw the dog man when I was 12 years old. So I just wanted to read what my buddy Jake and Alex actually submitted to me for my first book, Eerie Swamps Road Trip to Eden. I have a Letters from Family and Friends chapter. I actually read my aunt's story last time I called into you. So I just want to keep telling the spider web of stories over time to show that it's not just me who's gone off the deep end. It's this whole world that is really strange. But Alex wrote, well, I guess my statement would be, well, let me first say, Jake and Alex actually encountered this creature about 2 months before I did, and they had daily, nightly encounters hearing man-like owl calls. Even his mom, who was pretty square and by the book, said that there was something strange about the woods. But then, but Alex and Jake write about their encounters, and then Alex mentions a little bit about mine, and then I will get into my thoughts and feelings on it. But Alex said, well, I guess my statement would be, I take a left on the Sunrise Oval off of Sleepy Hollow Road. As we pull in, we stop because we think a deer is crossing the road. When we look, though, it wasn't a deer. It was something on 2 legs that ran across the road faster than any average person could run. It ran up the hill in almost a gallop. Then Alex wrote, second story, I believe you were there, but we heard rustling outside my walkout basement. We look out the window, and there are eyes like 5'5" to 6 foot looking into the window, taller than any known Ohio animal could stand. And then Jake wrote, pulling into Sleepy Hollow neighborhood, woods to the left, big field, hill to the right, with a wet red barn at the top of the hill. As we're pulling in slowly, we see a figure crossing the street on 2 legs, resembling a werewolf / Bigfoot, bigger than any human, and as soon as it crosses the street, it dead sprints up towards the barn, running faster than humanly possible. Still feels like a dream. And I heard about that story many times over those few months, but then we were going golfing in a league on Saturday morning, so we were sleeping over Alex's house Friday night, and he had a huge house, bar in the basement, nice pool table. It was paradise. And we were shooting pool, and we were young teenagers, didn't drink or anything. Yeah. It was just, extravagant down there. It was where all the parents hung out and everything. But they had a walkout basement, tall glass doors that you could just, go out to the backyard, and then it dropped down into a den and into caves and cliffs. And that's what the nickname of that whole region and plateau is. But we felt a strange feeling. Alex described it as rustling. I really didn't hear anything. I felt it more in my chest that something was watching us. And we ended up turning off the lights and then peeking through this little window, and we saw this hulking figure down in the den. And Alex says like 5'5" to 6, but that's, straight up. I think it was down at an angle, so it could have been, 5'5" to 9 feet tall, extended out, completely. But yeah, we called it the Wolfman of Sleepy Hollow, and we dove into the stairwell and got away for a second, and then we looked back and it was gone, after a few minutes. And then we ended up, kind of trying to get back to normal. We watched movies. I just remember being curled up, like shivering from fear, with my back to the glass, just hoping it was not going to come and swoop me up, because it definitely could have, 100%. But we ended up sleeping upstairs in Alex's top floor of his house instead of the basement, because we were so scared. So it was a real thing. It felt like a dream, but it was real. And, even us three to this day still talk about it. And when I had them submit that to me, they asked their mom about it, and it brought back a lot of feelings. And it's just a crazy story. And then all the dogman, craze has gone mad. We never heard of the term dogman. It was like werewolves and wolfman, like that. But we didn't think it was Sasquatch at all. It was more pointed ears, and it had a canine feel to it. But we've had other encounters with big black dogs chasing us in the forest that could have been like bloodhounds or hellhounds and other type of canine creatures. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was the start to something really crazy and big.
Wow. So do you have any other cryptid hunts coming up in the near future, or are you just ad-libbing it right now?
I'm actually going to Donnie Miller's property here soon, the man who had the strange encounters with the Bigfoot. And he, I think, has been marked by some kind of, special trace, because these creatures lure to him, and he has gotten them on camera and had strange encounters with the frogman and these cat-like people that are by a shrimp factory down in Panama City. And he is a very respectful man and, a man of God. So I'm one with him and just trying to learn as much as I can. But man, yeah, there's some strange things every corner. But I have a couple things this week that I'm definitely going to adventure out to. There's a couple caves nearby that I'm trying to get footage of, and then Chiro Cola. They turned into RC now, and RC's going out of business. Well, we found all this glass that's like 80 years old in the forest like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And my buddy Tristan found a full bottle for his mom, and my mom's birthday's coming up, and we were actually at Tim Turner and Wynette Turner's house, and she collects glass. So I want to find 2 bottles, one for my mom and then one that I'm going to mail to Wynette, just because it's time. And these things, the gaps close quick. I just went to the Jeepers Creepers jail at Reddick High School. It's an old abandoned high school. I read today that they're voting to destroy it, to demolish it. So I'm very thankful that I got to go, but anybody else that's a cinematic, maniac like me, please go visit it. GPS Reddick Public Library, and go check it out, guys, before it is dust and ash, please. And document it. Tell the story, because Jeepers Creepers was made by a horrible director, but the story still lives on, and the 4th one is coming out soon. The creeper comes back every 23 years, guys. You can't defy nature. That just happens.
Oh, wow. Well, anyway, the big thing that the folks out here that needs to listen to is pay attention to is this guy Connor Flynn is Bigfoot Anonymous. Bigfoot Anon, various iterations, abbreviations of that name on Instagram, over on, I think, are you on TikTok now or not? I don't know if
yes, TikTok. I got the biggest following out of all my platforms, I think, on TikTok. But I hustle, man. I follow a bunch of people, and I follow people that like Bigfoot. I work hard for my community. So I hope one of these days I break through and meet the right people, and I think I am. The people I've already connected with on this path have already changed my life in so much, but there are so many people on this planet that I'm just trying to reach however I can. But yes, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter even. I make music, Cflynna, CFLYNNA, like Connor Flynn. I have more than 50 music videos, And it's all about this kind of stuff. I'm not talking about cars and money. No, I barely have my car was my house. I lived out of my car. So what would I say? I have one seat, but I have one bed. I don't have any wheels, but I can rest my head. Like, I could do that, but I'd rather talk about life and death. But it's all goodness, and I'm just trying to spread the word. And in this backwards time that everybody is so insecure and looking over their shoulders, I'm just trying to lead the march and try to let people know that you can still be alive and proud and live like it's normal. Like down here in Florida, that's what we doing. There is no passports. There's none of that junk. We just need to work. We need to live. We need to explore, and we need to love. Because that promotes electricity, and that's all we are. We're just protons and electrons and neutrons, and that could be particle and wave form. Most of the time we're particle. Let's be wave. Let's tap into what's out there for us. Look at the sun. Look at the moon. They're exact opposites. The sky is a maze for us, and there's a dome above us dividing us between heaven, and there's something below stopping us from going to hell. So let's just exist in this middle realm and just flourish. Just meet your needs in abundance. Be yourself. And I can't stress that enough. Just stop being fake. Stop living for other people. Just be yourself. Live your truth, and that will take you where you need to be.
True enough. Well, Connor Flynn, I appreciate you calling in and sharing that story. That's incredible. Anytime you want to call in, I got open lines. You can go ahead and do it, buddy.
Thanks, man. I love that what you're doing. Keep the platform up, and I can't wait to have our mano-y-mano talk. But I can't wait to just keep chirping into these as well. And hopefully over time, people will be like, oh, yeah. And they'll look forward to my little segment where I can breathe and provide,
Oh, yeah, absolutely, brother. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you too, man. Take it easy, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the stories. Everybody, have a good night and a good weekend. Let's live large. Peace, y'all.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Connor Flynn, Bigfoot Anonymous, from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok and probably a few other places that he didn't even bother to mention or could mention, but he's all over the place. He's definitely a man about town when it comes to paranormal, cryptid, ghost, you name it. Now, again, like I said, this is Open Lines, Unscreened. And then I think I got the issue done with the... yeah, I did. I got the issue done with the other Mac Mini. The crazy thing is I don't remember hitting that monitor switch over on my little... board here, but I did. That's crazy. I could talk and you could hear me and you could hear him, but or the audio, he just didn't hear me talk to him. That's the weird thing about it. But anyway, that being said, go for Bigfoot Anonymous over on Facebook, Instagram, and over on TikTok as well. That's the wild thing about it. Now, let's get back to what I was talking about. Voodoo Woods down in Savannah, Georgia. Josh Runyon, Paranormal Security 9886. That fellow has been doing a lot of paranormal. I think it's sort of like a hobby / I don't think he does anything with it monetarily, but he does give some giveaways and stuff. I got a couple of his paranormal security patches, one for myself and one for Miss T, the lady of my life. And thank you again, sir, for sending those to me. I appreciate that. But here recently, last few months ago, a few months ago, probably back in January, maybe, give or take, Josh actually went in and he's been frequenting a place he's dubbed Voodoo Woods. And apparently, I just found this out in his last live stream he did over there, that this Voodoo Woods is built upon the Voodoo Woods has unmarked graves, from the Civil War back, Aboriginal Indian burial grounds and all iterations thereof from that point up. And I believe some voodoo / hoodoo has been going on around there in those Voodoo Woods. But he's done some investigations through there. And hold on a second, let me get this. Well, is this going to play or not play? Make sure I got that. Ah, I see what's going on here. I'm using the wrong keyboard. No wonder it wouldn't work. Hey, folks, if you want to know if this is professionally done, no, this is me in my bedroom doing this from two computers, and got one too many keyboards, and here we go. But this one he's in the middle of the night doing a live stream. All this stuff that he's captured, that last one, that Get Out, that demonic whatever that was, which I'll play that here again before I post the voodoo was. The Get Out was from a couple years ago, when he was doing security for I think a Catholic cemetery with a mausoleum / chapel inside. He goes in to, secure it, and he goes in, and this is what he got on live stream.
I'm really not sure what's going on here. Nope. Yeah, I'm done. This is some spooky going on here. Nope.
All right, so that was one I led up with, and before my buddy Connor Flynn, Bigfoot Anonymous, called in. Now this next one, you'll have to listen, because there's some chanting going on in the background as he's talking, Josh Runyon's talking, and this is in the middle of the night on a live stream. And here we go.
I think it's a demon, honestly. Am I fucking crazy? But I don't have my earpiece in. But do you hear that? Yes, I hear.
Now, there was another fellow with him, I forgot the fellow's name, that was doing a live hunt with him in the middle of the night over in Savannah, Georgia, in a place that he's dubbed Voodoo Woods, and apparently it is a very old, unmarked, I think they probably got some unmarked headstones or gravestones, field stones, as they would call them, there. But there's parts of that Voodoo Woods he does not go into. But here it is again. This is what he and his buddy was encountering.
I think it's a demon, honestly. Am I fucking crazy? But I don't have my earpiece in. But do you hear that? Yes, I hear.
All right, folks, that was it for the EVPs that I got from Josh Runyon. Thanks again to Josh Runyon from Paranormal Security 9886 for allowing me again to play those on the air. He's been on my show three times. And thank you again, buddy, for allowing me to do that. Now, let's see who's out there. Marquita's out there. B. Moss, Alarani, let's see, who else is in? Stimulate. Hey, buddy, what's going on there? Steve Royds, hey, brother, what's going on, man? So please, share this stream out, like it as much as you can. If you haven't liked it, to hit those thumbs up or hit those thumbs down, whichever you want to do. But I'll play those two EVPs again that Josh allowed me to play. But he is definitely one to watch. If you like something that's creepy and live streamed, he live streams in the middle of the night. He'll really caller. Hello, this is Chasing the Truth. Who do I have on board here?
Oh, it's Josh, Paranormal Security, buddy.
Hey, Josh, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you calling in. Thanks again for allowing me to play those two little segments.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. No problem at all.
So what's happening today? I heard that you have a new moratorium or something's going on that you have to wear those face masks in Savannah.
Yeah, Democrat City, man, they are they're making a citywide mandate for us to wear masks. So as most of the videos you see, that I just wear the little gator thing, and I've been wearing those for like a couple of years anyways. Since I've been in Savannah, just for the sole fact because of the mosquitoes and the bugs that we have down here. But now it's like somebody's telling me I have to do it. Now it just kind of, it's like, now I don't want to wear it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Well, I used to be a respiratory therapist, and wearing masks was, an everyday thing for me. But I couldn't imagine having to wear those damn things day in and day out, hours upon hours. And then,
yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's like now it's even. I guess now with the kind of work that I do, they're just afraid like you're going to be in contact with somebody. So, and we're in contact with the police and the fire and EMS and all that stuff too. So I guess it's just a safety precaution. So I just jerk it up really quick when I'm talking to them. And then as long as there's no bugs, I'll take it off. You know what I'm saying? That's what I like about the gators. So, or the little gator players.
Yeah, those neck gators or whatever they call them.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Bass Pro Shop. That's where you go to get them. So they're kind of cool. So.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So when's the next ghost hunt? Where are you going to go, and do you have one planned?
I do have one planned. I'm actually going to go to Florida. I can't remember the name of the county, but I'm going. Basically it's called the Devil's Tree, I believe is what they called it. So it was like basically like I think it was from what I read and what I've heard. Back in the 70s, the guy was either the sheriff of the county or he was like a policeman. Either way, what he did was he lured two girls off the road that were hitchhiking, and he took them out to the tree. He sexually assaulted them. He slit their throat. He brutally killed them, left them hanging on the tree, then buried them, whatever, around close by the area. He picked up two more, and he got a call. He left, and the girls escaped. They were able to go to the authorities. The guy was arrested. They let him out on bond. He went out and killed two more people. So it was, I think according to the story, it was supposed to be Florida's very first, like, big time serial killer, like just major killing in that time.
So what kind of paranormal activities are you looking to capture?
So the tree, they said, according to what I've read and people I've talked to, because that's what I like to do. I like to do as much research as I possibly can before I go out there because I don't know anything about this area. So, from what I've been told, one guy tried to go out there and he tried to cut the tree down with an axe. The axe broke or something, came back, killed the guy instantly, hit him in the head. Another guy came out there and they tried to chainsaw it down. It kept breaking the chains. Then they tried to set it on fire. The fire would start. It would go out. So then at that point they said that you can see figures, you're supposed to hear women, you're supposed to hear screams. It's just supposed to be like an evil entity within the tree line or the ground, you know what I'm saying? So.
Wow. That's crazy. Have you, I have been watching your live streams, but sometimes you do a live stream and take it down. Have you caught anything interesting in the last couple of live streams you've done?
Most of the time when I do my live streams, like, if it's not really anything too dramatic or anything, I just I take it off my channel, just like if I just get into like a rant or I'm just like shooting the shit with everybody or we're just talking about something stupid, I don't keep it up very long just because I feel like it doesn't have anything to do with the channel anyway, so I try to clean it up, if that makes sense. But no, the last live I did was at Voodoo Woods. It was actually a little bit calmer out there that night, believe it or not. And that was around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was really calm, but I was more quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like normally when I'm on a live, I'm responding to what people are saying to me and stuff. This time I was just being really quiet and I was just letting the audio pick up. So some people and myself, we heard what it sounded like children. We heard, saw a couple of different things. But the atmosphere was just completely different that night than it normally is. It looks like the counties went back through there and they've cleaned up a lot of stuff. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But there's good signs of somebody's been back there cleaning up all the rubbish and everything and all the garbage that was normally back there. But, like I've said before, I've gone out there many, many times and nothing happens. You go out there one day, something happens. You know what I'm saying? It's just a hit or miss with that place sometimes.
Yeah, true enough. You had been talking about a priest friend of yours. Has he ever connected up with you and went out to these places that you've live streamed at?
Yes, he has. He has never gone out there with me as far as like when I'm doing a live or when I'm doing a video. He does. Okay, so his thing is ironically, the man's name is Chris. So he doesn't, and you get the joke on that part.
Yeah,
you know, I'm not going to get into that. You know what I'm talking about. So, you know, he just got done with his, I guess, PhD or whatever in demonology and stuff. And he really expressed to me, he's like, I don't mind going out there with you, but he just didn't want to be affiliated with the YouTube part of it. Like, I think in his sense, he doesn't want anybody from the church or anybody ridiculing him. Why are you going out looking for ghosts? And you know what I'm saying? He didn't want to be a part of that, which I have to respect that with that. You know, he just really, he gives me enough information and tells me how I need to proceed, what I need to do. And I know he watches my videos and he'll sometimes be like, it's time to go. You need to leave. You know, and he reviews my videos, and that's really all I need from him and his friendship. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
If he's not comfortable or he feels uncomfortable that the church is going to say something to him about that, then I just respect that. You know what I'm saying? I don't push the subject of him going out there, and I got to get you on film, man. You know, so everybody just has to kind of respect that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, since we can't talk to him, and you've talked to him, what does he think about some of these incredible pieces of evidence that you have captured, like the Get Out portion that I just played earlier in the show, when that disembodied voice just screamed in that church, I believe, in the middle of a what did he think about junk like that?
So he watched those, and his biggest thing was he has always told me he never felt like that was really a child. He felt like that was something manifested himself as a child. Now I've spoke about this before, but I do know for a fact that there was a tragic accident. I can't remember if it was in the 70s or 80s. A vehicle with a family was coming around that corner. They were cut off, and a child did die on that property. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know enough information. I know it was so long ago, but I do know that there was a child that was killed in a traffic accident on that property. And I asked him that. I was like, do you think maybe this is the kid? It's wandering around. It's looking for its mom, whatever. He's like, well, no, because it seems like it's manifesting. It seems like it never changes. Like, that's the funny thing about that thing is the only thing that ever changes about it is the clothes. Like, there's always something different about its clothes. You know, when I've captured it, when I've seen it, but he just believes that it's just manifest itself and like it's something demonic. It's something that's just taking the form of something it's seen or it's pretending to be something. And, you know, in the older video where it says, get out, there's no God, that's not anything good if it's saying there's no God or there's no nothing like this. So he's always felt like something was, you know, effing me out there, you know, like it's been fucking with me almost, you know, like it's trying to do, it's something sinister behind it, you know, and that's another reason why I don't go out there and I don't pursue it as much. And Voodoo Woods is getting to be like that. Like, it's getting to the point to where I have been in situations where I have just, you know, felt disgusted. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've just felt like my insides were being ripped out. And when I start feeling like that, that's not a good feeling to be. And, you know, I did back off from Voodoo Woods for a while. There was a long while that I didn't go out there because, you know, it was like almost a week or two. It was constant diarrhea. It was constant bad dreams. I couldn't sleep. I was getting up, and it was funny because I kept dreaming about it. Like I was there. It was almost like every time I'd go there, but I remember being out there and I couldn't breathe. And it felt like something had stuck inside, like its hand inside of me and just like was grabbing my guts, you know? And I was like, man, I can't go back out there. Like, I just can't. Like, there's no way. There's something bizarre out there, you know? And then everybody was like, oh, we really want to see Voodoo Woods. We really want to see Voodoo Woods. So when I got the courage to go back up out there, I started going back out there, but I started doing things differently. I pray before I go in there. My priest friend has given me a cross. He's given me all kinds of awesome things that I keep in my pocket. And I feel better about that.
Oh, wow. So, have you found some place else besides that Catholic cemetery that you had so many encounters in, and now Voodoo Woods, is there something that is just on the same level or a little bit below the level of the paranormal activity? Now, the other thing here is you mentioned the name Jesus Christ, and that pops activity out. It's just sort of like it drags it out.
Yes. There was one video that I did where I was on a live and people were they were like saying, say Buddha, talk about this, just talking about other types of gods. I mean, I believe there's only one God, and that's, Jesus Christ, it's God Almighty above. But I tried it, and I was getting absolutely no responses until the point that I said Jesus. And what's weird about that, I had a young man that messaged me on Facebook, and he was like, you know what? He's like, I'm going to tell you something. I was an atheist. I didn't believe in demons or anything like this. I thought this was just pure entertainment, yada, yada, yada. He said, but when you said Jesus and that thing started getting aggressive with you, he was like, that's when I knew there was something, there is something out there. There is something greater than myself. And I thought that was so freaking awesome, that he decided to accept Jesus that night because, he realized there's got to be something to it. And you were saying like that, the different atmosphere. I think Voodoo Woods is 10 times worse. I don't physically all the time. I've only seen something out there with my own eyes, maybe once or twice in some of my videos. Couldn't tell you what it was. As far as that kid and the noises and the atmosphere at the cemetery, I think I'm more scared to go back to the cemetery than I would ever. I think I would just go stand in front of the devil before I would want to go back to that place, because as the years have went by and hearing so many stories, hearing about cops that I've made friends with that have worked out there, have been out there for years, and they're saying, that's nothing new, man. We've been seeing this kid for years, and going back to years and years that you've been seeing this, and they're just like, we don't mess with it. We're not chasing that thing. We don't know what it is. It's not a human being, and that's become such a common occurrence to them. And they're just like, you're crazy for going out there. Cause you know what, believe it or not, if you go to the Catholic side of it, if you go straight in the back, there's actually a big thing, a crucifix with Jesus on it. And it's really pretty out there. And it's a little turnaround spot. I used to go out there and eat my lunch, pitch black dark. It was quiet. I would eat my lunch. I maybe turn my little amber light or my green lights on or something so people knew what I was, kind of keep them out there. And I never had any problems back there. But they told me I was crazy for going back there and sitting like that. And I was like, well, I'm not afraid of anybody coming around the corner and cheating me or nothing. They're like, that's not what we're talking about. It's the shit that goes on out there, So it's like, it kind of dawned on me, well, I probably shouldn't be too afraid of the living. I should probably be afraid of what's, unexplainable. But I think the atmosphere is different out there than Voodoo Woods. I don't know, Chris has told me, yes, he believes it's all demonic. But it just, to me, out there, the atmosphere is just different. Something trying to manipulate itself as a child to lure me into something, that is just beyond the imagination. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. So what does your priest friend think? Well, this is a little bit off topic, but not really. This might be a little bit of a stretch. Have you talked about the UFOs and alien encounters and stuff with this priest? What does he think?
You know what? Yes, believe it or not, and that's hilarious that you brought that up. I'm not much of a UFO believer, and we did have a discussion. As a matter of fact, I'd actually talked to a preacher friend of mine that I used to go to church with. I was talking to him, and that's funny you brought that up because they were both telling me the exact same thing. Now, this is coming from a Baptist preacher to a Catholic priest, and Chris was like, he believes that UFOs are, and so does my friend that was a priest, or excuse me, a pastor at the Baptist church I went to. They just believe that that's some kind of form of demonic form. They believe that people want to believe in that so much. And they're like, and they both came up with the same story. They're like, they want to believe in it so much, and if something evil was really trying to get to you, or it wanted to convince, get to you so bad, what would it pretend to be? It would pretend to be like with a child, it would pretend to be, a cartoon character or something like that. So it can lure you in. but with an adult, somebody that has a fascination, and I love outer space. I absolutely do. You know, and they said, but if they pretend to be an alien, wouldn't that draw you into them? And I was like, well, yeah, you have a point. You know, and then of course they got into scriptures and stuff like that, talking about, you know, that the Bible says you'll see it coming from the sky and things like that. I'm not sure the verse, so I don't want to butcher it. You know, so that's what they think. They think that at some form or fashion, that's some kind of antichrist, end of the world type of stuff, that if they were to ever announce and aliens were to come and land here, they don't believe that those are really aliens. They believe that they're demons. Now, how far-fetched is that? I don't know. I get where they're coming from, and I try to look at it from their side of point, you know, because I didn't believe in ghosts until a few years ago. So I was a skeptic myself, you know, until it, you know, slapped me across the face one night when I was working in a cemetery. So.
Well, I'll have to tell you this. When I got your package with those two paranormal patches in there, the Paranormal
Yes, sir.
986, before it went through my door, I prayed over it to, you know, do a rebuking. You know, that being said,
Yes.
I just wanted to say that.
Oh, no. I understand. Yeah, like, you know, people tell me all the time, you never know what's going to follow you home. You never know what's going to attach to those things.
Right.
And believe it or not, those patches are actually official patches. Those actually go on my uniforms with my company. So you are the first person to get one. You're like, a couple of people have got those, but you were one of the few people that have actually got one of my original patches that goes on my uniform. So you are welcome, sir.
I appreciate that very much. I was surprised that, you know, actually I was telling Miss T, my girlfriend, I said, hey, I wonder if I put up, you know, use some of these EVPs from Josh Runyon, sort of kind of put in the mix and say, hey, this is what I have done in the past. And she said, why don't you ask Josh, see if you can use them? I said, sure, why not? I didn't expect you to say, hey, I'd call in or anything like that, but appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, bro. I love your stuff. When I have time, I try to listen to it. When I do my little side gigs on the weekends and stuff, I will put you in my ear when you're talking, and I will try to listen to you, and up until the point to where it starts getting loud or I start getting busy. Yeah, I love it. I love listening to the stories, and I appreciate you. You've been my friend for, like you said, you've been following me for like 2 or 3 years, so I've always considered you my friend. So,
well,
I really do appreciate you.
I consider you a friend too, brother. So,
absolutely.
Have you ever just backed out of a place when you're securing a place? You know, doing your security, you did a series of videos at this doctor's office / whatever, you know, it was doing. I think it's closed down now.
Yes.
Did you ever go in there and say, no, I just don't want to get in here right now, or just get in there and get out as fast as you could?
Yes, 100%. You know, that's the best part about being a business owner. And, you know, the only reason I was really doing that is because that was it was a new contract anyway. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was doing their jobs and what we were supposed to be doing. And primarily I would just patrol and go check different sites and stuff like that. It's kind of like the cemetery. And yes, there was a couple times I would get a call or something would come through and they'd be like, hey, the alarm's going by. Do you want to send the police over there? Do you mind going over there? And I'm like, no, I'm on my way. And I get there and I think I see something going and I just go over there and make sure the door's locked, and then I just boogie back in my car and leave. You know, sometimes I don't want to go toe to toe with it sometimes, to be honest with you. Like, and people think that, like, I don't know why people think that I'm not a human being and I'm not scared. You know, I get that comment all the time. They're like, well, how are you so calm and collective? I'm not, you don't see my face. You don't know what's going on in my body, you know, or how I'm feeling at that moment. But I try to convince myself, okay, I've got, you know, 50 people on my live, so I'm not by myself. That's what I convince my brain, and that's how I keep my composure. But when you're really physically by yourself and you're not talking to nobody, and you see something like that, or you already know what goes on at this place during the day and at night. Yes, you just want to get in there and push that alarm button really quick and say it's all clear and get the hell out of there. Yes.
So, to give us a little bit backstory about this doctor's office, you know, you had I don't know if you have any of those videos still up, but there was some fantastic just physical activity, moving chairs while you're not in the damn place, coat racks falling over, exercise balls being kicked from one room around the corner into another room. What was the people that were working there during the day? What were they going through?
So, just a really quick backstory of the place. It was used to be an African American, or I don't know if that's exactly what it was. I think that's what it was. It used to be I guess a funeral home or whatever. It was built technically it was leveled out in 1939. Then they had started building these little homes at the time, which I don't think they would have called them apartments back then, but they were just like little homes. Then eventually it turned into these little apartments, and then eventually it turned into basically like a nursing home, but not really a nursing home. It's basically just places where elderly people go that are still physically able to live there, like a hospice type place. And they would get ambulances or whatever to take them to the hospital and to their doctor's appointments. And then they would go home, and you had people that were there somebody was there, most of the time, and they if they needed help, they had all the, everything they needed, but they could live in this house by themselves, these apartments. So what had happened was when COVID happened, they stopped doing the whole ambulance picking you up and taking you to doctors. So they just opened up this area and made that the doctor's office, where they could just come and they could just go get them and bring them there. They could check them out, and they never had to leave the facility. So that just went on for a little while. So they were actually operating out of that place, and that's why they needed security, just because they started having a lot of riffraffs and stuff going on around there. But during the day, I would hear stories from one of the CNAs or the nurses, and they would be like, "We heard a baby crying. That's impossible. Everybody here is over their, in their 70s and 80s. There's no damn babies here." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I drive around here at night, and I realize there's no babies around here." And then they said books, they'd be in there eating their lunch in the library area, and books would come flying off. They would hear people walking around in the back, they're using the bathroom, and there's only like 2 or 3 people there. And they would all be sitting there. And then of course at night, the alarms were going off. And before I got there, the police said they responded I think it was 62 different times they had been out there in like a month of something, and they would have to wait for somebody with a key to come over there and let them in, clear the area. That's kind of where we got involved at. And that started happening. It just started happening multiple times. Fire alarms were going off for no reason with inside the building, and firemen are showing up, police are showing up, and it was bizarre. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to do my old school stuff. I'm going to set my phone up in here. I'm going to do my little thing, and I'm going to come back and I want to see what I capture. And a lot of those things, I didn't post them for so long because technically I had forgot that I had so many videos. So I was like going through my videos, and I was like, well, I'm just going to post all these, blindsided. And you hear a baby crying, you see the balls doing it, and bathroom door, everything that they're reporting during the day is happening at night also. Alarms going off,
So what was I know that you probably saw some crazy stuff in there before you posted the first video from that doctor's office. What was some of the stuff that really got you? Well, hell, I got a video of this.
Yeah, the little girl, as typically if I would ever pull up, I didn't always turn like my emergency lights on or anything, but I did have a spotlight form, on top of my car, which was basically just a clear light, and it did a 360 light so I could, light it up. And I would pull up to the front of it, and I would hear the alarm beeping. And right before I get to the door, I see like a little girl run from one side to another. And then initially I'm thinking, okay, some kids broke in here. Go around the side and check the back door. It's locked. The front door is locked. This side door's locked. Everything's locked. And the motion detector's going off in this direction. That just blows my mind. That's the few times that I have seen that. And they told me about a little girl. I didn't believe it at first, but I guess when I started seeing her, and most of the time it'd be pitch black in there. that was what was funny. There was only certain areas where the lights would come on automatically. She never triggered the lights on, which was impossible. If this was an actual person, regardless of a little girl or a giant man, it would have triggered those lights on. Somehow it never did that, but it would trigger the alarm because the alarm would motion it off. And I have seen it. I've seen her, I want to say about 3 different times, you know, and it's always been one of those things. It's like out of the corner of your eye, and as soon as you look, she's gone.
So have you had anybody that worked for you go to some of these places that have a little bit of activity and say, I can't go over there anymore?
You know, that did happen when I was working at the cemetery, of course. That happened to a couple of different people. I did have a young lady. She worked for the sheriff's department, and on the days that I wasn't doing that, you know, certain times at that doctor's office, we would have, you know, an 8 or 9 hour shift where somebody was in that vicinity. So they would patrol, all of that. They would patrol the inside of the doctor's office. They would go into the building. She decided she didn't want to come back. And her story was that she was actually at I don't know if you would call them apartments, but anyway, she was at the main building where all the housing was. She went up to the third floor, excuse me. So she said this old lady was sitting in the chair where the little library thing that they had. She said, hey, how you doing? She said, good. She walked to the end. She did her check. She turned around, came back. She said the woman wasn't standing there or wasn't sitting there anymore. So I was like, well, you know, okay, whatever. She probably just got up and went back to her room or whatever. Well, they had a medical alarm go off one day. I was actually out of town. I was in Gatlinburg. Was I in Gatlinburg? I think I was in Gatlinburg. They had an alarm go off, like a medical alarm go off. So the police and the fire department came, everything. But the security guard saw the woman go inside her house, her little apartment thing before the alarm went off. And when the cops and stuff got there, the lady had deceased. She was passed away. And the security guard had walked in there and she's like, well, I just saw her like 15 minutes ago. And they said, well, that's impossible. She's been dead probably 6-7 hours. But why the hell did the alarm just go off? Like, you know, this woman they had pronounced her dead for like 6 hours. She had a heart attack in her chair, but somehow the alarm went off and the security guard had just saw her. So I don't know if that was like a way for that lady to be like, hey, I don't want to sit in here and rot. So I'm going to show my presence. And then I'm going to go in there and do everything I can to push this button, you know, to get somebody to help me. And unfortunately, she didn't have any family, really any immediate family. So she didn't want to go back after that because she swore up and down there was no way that woman had been dead for 6 hours. She just saw her. So I said, fair enough. So I don't know if it was, like I said, I don't know how the alarm went off 15 minutes prior to that. I don't know because I wasn't there, but you know, yeah, I have had that situation. Yes.
Well, when I used to work in the hospital, I would see shadow people run by me right before, you know, a code was called or right after a code was called. I can remember working in the old ICU as doing sleep studies. And, you know, didn't have the responsibility to respond to codes, but after I would see a code call, I would see a shadow, something that would go by my office while I'm doing sleep studies. And I'm like, really? Okay. But I saw those shadow people. I couldn't tell you how many times. I was like, I got used to it, you know, got to the point where, oh, okay, yeah, they just running by or whatever. I didn't know if they were attracted to me or just looking and saying, where the hell am I? What the hell just happened? As they were transitioning from being alive to being dead. I don't know. Could be.
Have you ever experienced like the children or anything like that? You know, my mother worked in a nursing home for like 16 years and she always used to say she would work, you know, she was a social worker there. So, she would be there late at night sometimes, you know, it'd be 8, 9, 10 o'clock if she had a lot of paperwork to finish up. And nurses were reporting that they would see kids with balloons go into the rooms and then the patient would hit the button and say, those kids are back. And there was actually a lady there, sweet lady. She's passed away, you know, but, her name was Miss Ballou. And right before Miss Ballou's mind went absolutely, you know, gone, like it just left. she would sit in there and cry and yell. And she started getting bruises on her. And she said, every time I'd get up and go to the bathroom, this kid pushes me down. He stands at the foot of my bed and he laughs at me. And I'm just, honestly, you're sitting there just thinking, bless your soul. Your mind's gone. You're on the jumping off point at this point. And she was. But I just, I just never knew her to be that rational. And the night she passed away, I remember, my mom had called me that afternoon and she said, you need to come tell Miss Ballou goodbye and you love her because this will probably be her last day here. So I did that. And then Mom had stuck around for a little while and one of the nurses had ran down to the thing and was like, Miss Ballou's alarm's going off and there's kids in there. So they ran down there. There was no kids in there. This is a locked facility at night. Mm. And there's no kids in there. And unfortunately, Miss Ballou had passed away. Right. But there was people reporting seeing kids. So that ain't the first time I've heard that. I can't say for sure that I thought I saw it once before, but I couldn't tell you, but they were giving such vivid, details about these kids. And it was always the same thing that the patients were saying. And I don't know what kids have to do with, you getting ready to go meet God or whatever the case might be, but shit,
Well, I personally have been in many, I guess you would call it blessing when people were about ready to pass away and seeing them start talking to nothing that I could see. But right. They have conversations with long past friends or past relatives. Personally, I've never seen little kids associated with it, but old school nurses would say, yeah, if they're starting to talk to other people that are not there, they're about ready to go. A buddy of mine, Steve, aka Dragon ZW, he has said he's had the last about a year or so has had frequent visits to the hospital for various tests and whatnot, and he claims that he's seen little kids, the same little kids, standing out beside his door with white eyes. From one facility to the next, he could still see them.
I've heard stories like that before. As you know, I was a volunteer firefighter for a boondock little county called Murray County. I believe for 100% sure that our fire station was haunted. Because I would sleep over at the fire station. We always had one full-time. Until I became a full-time, we had one full-time that was always there. And then on the days that I didn't have to work, I would just volunteer my time as a shift, because I could just jump on the truck. I could go do the medical calls with them. I didn't have to leave my house and do all that extra stuff, And I was getting paid, volunteer stuff. They pay you so much. And I'd be in there watching TV, and Mike or Micah or Bobby, either one that would be there, they would go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I'd stay up and watch a movie or something, and kind of hoping something was going to happen, And I would hear people outside the bay door. I would hear people talking outside the bay door where our trucks were, where the engine was. And I'd get up and I'd walk through the kitchen and I'd listen, and then I'd hear boots stomping, and it sounded like our bunker gear, our rubber boots. And I'm like, the fuck, what the hell's going on out here? And open up the door, and it's just absolutely nothing. There's no more talking. There's no more anything. I don't know what makes a place haunted. Nothing, dramatic had ever happened there as far as the building goes. But I just personally think that hauntings come from the land. I really do. I think the land is what's haunted because you don't know what was there before you decided what happened there before you decided to build that fire station. What happened with the Native Americans? What happened during the Civil War? We don't know what happened there when you put that building on top of that ground. And I think that's the biggest problem with Savannah, too, is because if you do your research on Savannah, most of this city is built over corpses and bodies. That's why it's so haunted, because there's parks here where there's thousands of bodies underneath the ground. That's weird. That's disrespectful, but that's what they did. One point in time in Savannah, they said every time they would do they have a water eruption or something like that they would have to get the coroner out there because they would find some kind of human remain. And they'd have to justify whether it was a homicide or it was a burial ground. That's creepy. That's spooky to me. You just
I'd say
walk.
that
It's
goes
like
on.
New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that probably go on even to this day. You know, find new unearthed bodies, but they're old from the Civil War or whatever. You know, way back.
Yes. They
So
found a body. They found a body about 3 weeks ago where I'm doing this Firewatch at, and Firewatch is basically just give you a rundown. The alarms are down right now, so by order of the fire marshal, they have to have somebody walk around out here. It's an easy peasy job, you know. You just make sure you don't smell any smoke. But they're actually building apartments, like more apartments across the street from it, and they uncovered a human femur. So, like, I'm just wondering, like, if you just go out here and you just start digging up more and more and more, like, what the hell are you going to find? You know, but it was old. It wasn't anything new, so it wasn't a homicide. But that goes on in Savannah all the time. Like,
do they have any like gangs or anything like that? Have a lot of beefs going on the streets in Savannah?
gangs, like, okay, you're talking, yeah, you know, typical like anywhere else. To my personal opinion, you have, I call them posers because, you know, this isn't California. This isn't LA. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you do have the gangs, the quotation gangs out here. Yes, you do. And that's primarily where a lot of your shootings and the homicide rate that goes up here is from these wannabe thugs, these wannabe gang members, but they just shoot each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it myself.
Oh, wow. So, anyway, I appreciate you, Josh, for being on the show.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, man, that was a blessing in itself, and I appreciate you allowing me to play those two EVPs, if you call that first one EVP.
Anytime, buddy.
Well, I guess you could, because that was just as creepy. The one where it screamed, "Get out." That was just, how the hell? I just don't understand how the hell you went back in that little chapel after that occurred.
You know, if you remember, I was like, nope, hell no, this is my day off.
Nope,
I'm getting
nope,
the hell out of here. I'm over this. And I should have been, but it was just so fascinating to me that this was happening, like coming from somebody who didn't believe in ghosts to this crap was happening to me, and I'm catching it. I'm capturing it. And it was almost just like a drug. Like, I just wanted that adrenaline of it. And then I just started like coming to my common sense, and I'm like, you know what? This might be messing with fire at this point. Like, I don't know how I feel. And when I don't feel comfortable anymore, you know, and eventually I might not feel comfortable going to Voodoo Woods, and that's going to upset people. But if I don't feel comfortable, if I feel like my safety is in jeopardy, I'm not going back somewhere like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if I have a gun or a taser and everybody's like, I hope you got your gun on you. Well, what the hell am I going to shoot? Like, if this is not a human being or Jason Voorhees coming out, what am I going to shoot? Like, this is obviously some kind of ancient being. And what's my bullet going to do? Nothing. You know? So it's just, if I feel like my life is in danger or I don't feel comfortable, I will not go back, you know?
Well, that's one of the things I joke around with Miss T quite often about, you know, what would you do if you had somebody jump out and you think, well, is it a ghost or is it real? So, well, you know, racking a shell in a shotgun, that will tell you if it's real or if it's a ghost. If they react, it's real. If they don't,
well,
something else.
I have been trained, and I am very comfortable with myself that I'm not just going to get that scared to where that's the first thing I'm going to do is pull my gun. Yeah. But obviously, if it is ever a human being and they see me put my hand on my gun, like you just said, they're gonna be, whoa, you know, you're gonna get that reaction of don't pull that gun, you know. But you know, I don't know what I would do in a situation if it just stood there and looked at me or something. I mean, I would probably pull it out and hold it down to my side and back up really slowly. And as long as it doesn't come at me in a threatening manner, then I'm not going to do anything, you know. But I hope that never happens. I don't even want to be in that scenario, to be honest with you.
True enough. But, again, Josh Runyon, I appreciate you calling in, brother. Anybody out there, Paranormal Security 9886? Did you say you got your TikTok back, or do you have that?
Yeah, I have a whole nother TikTok. I've got more followers on there than, like the other guy was saying, I got more followers on there than I do any of my other social media. Yeah, it's Security 98 now. Yeah, that's what it is. So I take a lot of my old clips and stuff like that where people have sent me where they've seen something. And then I do kind of like you did. I'll just take a clip out of those videos, and that, shows them what the whole video was about or whatever. Somebody had, showed me that, hey, this happened at this time, and then I'll take that clip. So it's kind of interesting. I like using TikTok. I don't really get on there and do lives or anything like that anymore, and I don't really entertain it more than, unless I have clips or something from my older investigations or something like that, I'll post on there.
All right. Wow. Well, Josh, you have creeped me the hell out on more than one occasion. There was one section which I don't have, but I think it's up and around, where you left your phone in a mausoleum for maybe about 15, 20 minutes. And you can hear something shuffle around, and you can see obviously the scream, the yell, whatever the hell that was. That in the middle of the night, first time I watched that, I kind of fell asleep, and that scream woke me up. I was like, "What the shit was that?"
Yes. It was actually about a 45-minute video, and I'd left it, and that was just it was just one of those nights. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to leave my phone here. I have my company phone at the time. I was working for another company. I was like, and I have a radio and all that good stuff. So I was like, I can leave it in there. I'll lock the door. I just want to see what the hell happens when I'm no longer here. And I literally drove on the other side of town and went and dealt with something that was going on, and then I forgot about it and came back. And like you said, I was watching it, and all it was just dark, and I was like, oh shit, well, I didn't catch nothing on this. It ain't nothing but it's just a flashlight in a building. And then that scream came out about 15 minutes into it, and I was like, shit. I was like, wow. But yeah, it's that video is still up. I have it on my YouTube, and I have a clip of it on my TikTok if you don't want to watch the whole video. But I have shortened it down to the point, because like you said, it was really just a long, drawn out video of just a bunch of nothing, and then all of a sudden it was something.
Yeah, well, like I said before, you have creeped me the hell out, and I'm like, how the hell does he capture this while he's doing live streams? Now, there's some live streams that there's absolutely nothing happening. You just walking around.
Nothing happening. You're right.
And then there's some that you like, did you see that? I'll be reviewing this and with Miss T, watching her videos, and she'll say, did you see that? Or did you see that? And it's like, yeah. And like, okay, buddy, what the hell are you into?
How many times I've had people screenshot me things and be like, did you see this by this tree? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And then you look, and it's clearly something out there. Like, it just scares the hell out. Like, the goosebump factor comes on. Because, I'm looking up and I'm looking at my phone at the same time. I am reading what people are saying, or I'm trying to keep up with it. I'm trying to respond. But at the same time, I'm trying to look up, too. So, I'm thinking when I'm looking at my screen and then I look up and I look down, I'm thinking, okay, maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me. But when somebody else sees it, that's what I liked. I like it when people see it and they can call it out and be like, there was something over there, and I can go back and I can see it with my own eyes. It's bizarre and it's awesome at the same time, and it's scary as hell. So
yeah, true. There's one repeating encounter that you have audio wise, and it's a little kid or maybe a little girl, perhaps, singing "Ring Around a Rosie," pocket full of posies. What the hell is that all about?
What the hell is that about? And that has only ever happened to me at that cemetery. And I'm telling you, as God is my witness, I'm not the only one that has heard that before. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know what the ring around the rosy is, but that has only happened at the Catholic cemetery. And, there's two cemeteries connected right to it. You got Hillcrest Abbey, and then you got the Catholic one. But that property right there is the only time I have ever heard that. And it does. It sounds like a little girl, like just a little, I would call it like a baby, like a 6-year-old or a 7-year-old. Just like, who sings that song anymore? Everybody knows what that song is about. It's not cool.
Yeah. Wow. Well, keep up the good work and share what's out there.
Yes, sir. You too.
Yeah, the one thing that this show is about is chasing the truth and showing people that it's just not 9 to 5. It's not the rut in the road that you do going from your house to whatever job, or now rutting the carpet, since a lot of us is still at home doing jobs remotely or whatever. but this
Yes,
has
sir.
more to do with things that, science just does not want to jump at and say, hey, that's not real. We can't measure it. We can't put a color spectrum to it or whatever, And you
Right.
definitely are trying to do that. And good, I have enjoyed your channels on the various platforms that
Yes.
you're on. You got an IG account, Facebook account, YouTube account.
Yes.
and all that stuff. So definitely reach out to Paranormal Security 9886. I think he's got Paranormal Security 98 on TikTok. But I think he
Yes.
usually does some live streams in the middle of the night. We're usually popping on after midnight to maybe 3 a.m. whenever you get off work. I think
Yes,
you're going
sir.
out to wherever it is. But wow. Thanks, Josh, for being
Yep,
on the phone for a little bit, buddy. Appreciate you.
You too, buddy. I'm gonna let you know one thing really quick. I've got you a badge being made, kind of like what my officers have. So as soon as it comes in, I'm gonna send it to you in the mail. Okay?
Oh man, you don't have to do that. I appreciate it.
No, I've already done it, buddy. I put in an order. I had to put in some order for some other ones. And so it's an official badge, just like what we wear, and it's pretty cool. So I think you'll like it, and it'll put it up in a little shadow box or something, and, have a little souvenir from me. But yeah, I got you one coming, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it. You didn't have to do that at all. But
No problem,
thank
buddy.
You, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless
All right,
you.
partner.
And
God bless you.
keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard, as one of my callers calls in. He's a trucker out on the road. He'll say, keep it between
Yes,
the
sir.
mayonnaise and the
Yes,
mustard.
sir.
All right, brother.
Yes,
Have a
sir.
good one.
All right, buddy. You too, brother. Bye-bye.
See you. All right, Josh Runyon, Paranormal Security 9886. And I've dropped his link down there in the YouTube chat there. If you are over on the Paranormal Radio app in the Dark Waters channel, run over to Chasing the Truth Shawn G. There's a live stream going on over there. Holy cow. 2 great callers. And heck, how long have I been doing this stream now? Hold on just a second. Let's see. Looks like an hour and 22 minutes, and it just popped by just that quick. Now, for the folks that just popped on or have been listening throughout the entire show, appreciate you coming on board. For the ones that have not heard what we were just talking about, I pulled out 2 EVPs from Josh's live stream. Now, I'm going to play the 2. First one was the Get Out in the Mausoleum / church. Now, Josh was going in there, and this was in a Catholic cemetery, and this is what Josh encountered about 2 years ago, maybe 3. But here you go. Wait, just a second. Let's turn on the audio over there on that computer. There you go. And here you go. This is what Josh encountered.
I'm really not sure what's going on here. Nope. Yeah, I'm done. This is some spooky going on here. Nope.
All right, that was the Get Out. And a couple years later, in the Voodoo Woods that we were talking about down in Savannah, Georgia, that was a nickname that he coined or used for this set of woods that looks like it's pretty close to maybe some businesses or something like that. But it's basically a bunch of unmarked, well, mostly unmarked. There's some field stones in there of Civil War era and beyond grave sites. And this is what he's captured one live stream with a buddy of his on a ghost hunt over there. Here's one. Now listen closely. You'll hear some whispering and some chanting.
I think it's a demon, honestly. I'm not fucking crazy, but I don't have my earpiece in. But do you hear that?
Yes, I hear. All right. Well, anyway, that's just a sample of hours of live streams that this Josh Runyon, Paranormal Security 9886 buddy of mine, and thanks for calling in there, and thanks to Connor Flynn from Bigfoot Anonymous calling in. But like I said, this is Chasing the Truth, and this is Unscreened open lines. Now, you don't have to be somebody that owns a channel. You just have to be somebody who's listening, and hey, I got a story to tell you, and it's true. I don't want any creepypasta stuff. That stuff, I don't want to be known, hey, Shawn throws out creepypasta. No, I want somebody that actually has some sort of encounter, whether it is a Bigfoot, dogman, cryptid, ghost sighting, any kind of paranormal, UFO. Josh Runyon, the fellow that was just called in just a minute ago, I don't think he believes in UFOs too much. But that being said, thank you again, Josh, for calling in. Have you seen a UFO? Have you seen an alien? Have you been abducted? Now, I've told this before, previous shows over on the Dark Waters channel. I might have mentioned it on my first, live stream open lines. I may have said that, but my late father had been abducted and had a lot of missing time. And there was this one story which my sister, I actually had her retell it to me. So do you remember that story Dad told you about this orb and he was abducted? She said, yeah. A lot of people were standing around this orb, and there was this dead guy he kind of knew that dated the girlfriend of his that he was currently dating. And this ghost told him, hey, tell Nina this or she'll never believe you if you tell her about this encounter. I don't know what that particular piece of information was that this ghost shared with my late father, but when he told her, his girlfriend, that information this ghost told her or told him, she just about passed out. That being said, do you have anything like that or something better? Crazy. But I appreciate you there, Josh, in there in the chat. B. Moss, thank you for being holding the wrench there. Dragon ZW, hey, man. Hope you're feeling good and you got a good voice. If you want to call in, please call in, brother. Stimulate. Marquita is in the chat over there. Christina H. And the love of my life, Miss T. She's had some internet problems and been in and out a little bit. But that being said, holy cow, I didn't even think I would have this kind of interaction. Even on my first, kind of dip into, hey, I want to do this over on my own channel, Chasing Truth, Shawn G. That is it. Marvin Allen, hey, brother, what's going on with you? Hey, you want to call in, buddy? Go right ahead. 931-994-6917 is the number to call. If you want to call in and tell me an encounter or a sighting, or do you live in a haunted place like I do? Now, I can tell you this before, if anybody does decide to call in, I can tell you this. When Terry come up to my house and spent a week or two with me, and she woke me up in the middle of the night saying there's some women whispering out in the hallway talking. I was like, no, don't worry about it. There's nothing going to touch it. And I fell back asleep. And then she woke me up again. I'm telling you, there are women out in the hallway talking. I was like, alrighty then. But yeah, she's more sensitive to the other side than I am. And on certain occasions, well, most occasions anyway. But yeah, this place, I've seen a lot of stuff. Had some crazy stuff going on in this house. But definitely, Marvin, if you want to call in, 931-994-6917, or anybody else, that's what this show's all about. You're not going to find somebody screening the calls. You call in, and if it's a busy show where a lot of people calls in, you might, hear the phone ring a couple of times and can't get through, but that's just part of the fun of this show. As soon as you call, you're not going to get anybody else. You're going to get, hey, this is Shawn Chasing the Truth. Who to have on board and where you're from. That's what you're going to hear. Yeah. So was you telling Marvin Allen to call in? Yep, sure. Go for it. 931-994-6917. Marvin Allen. If you want to call in, go for it. That's what this is all about. I'm not, if you want to call in before Marvin Allen calls in, try to do it if you want to. I'm just sitting here rattling on telling you little ghost stories little things have been chased out of my house. The weird thing was, Josh mentioned these demons masquerading as little children. Well, my little grandnephew, was talking about this thing he called neighbor. And weird thing was, he always associated right before my sister, his grandmother, would come over and visit, and he would start saying, "Hey, neighbor's here," and look under his bed or whatever, and it kind of creeps you out. It was under his bed. But one of the things he saw, as he's walking around, I think with his mother, my niece, and they would walk out to the edge of the property, and he would talk about SpongeBob being in the tree, and you're kind of wondering, well, is there's imagination going on here or whatever? But that little kid popped up in my house one day, and I have this house particularly secured. I've got security cams all over this place. You cannot get on my property without being filmed. That's just it. But this little kid, about 5 years old, is wringing his hands saying, "Neighbor's here." And just at that time, Miss T was here with us, and they chased that damn thing up the stairs, and they cast it out in the name of Jesus Christ. And till this day, I actually asked my sister about it maybe a few weeks ago. Has he seen neighbor? Has he seen the neighbor? Nope. Thank God, thank Jesus Christ for that he is no longer bothered by that, whatever that creepy thing is. But I do believe it was not his imagination. It was this demonic SOB, or whatever the hell you want to call it, was manifesting in front of my great nephew as SpongeBob. SpongeBob in the tree, and this neighbor, whatever the hell you want to call it. But the power of the name of Jesus Christ is definitely a very powerful weapon against things that are not exactly wanting to know Jesus Christ. But, like I said before, when I was before God in my near-death experience, which, when I asked God, why are there so many religions? And God just bluntly said, there's so many people that talk so many languages, but the only language that is common among them is me. So, said I talk to everybody in a different language. It'd be like, if you're old enough to remember party lines, and you'd pick up and there'd be a lot of people talking all at once. Well, just imagine if you pick up a party line, you hear other people praying, but in different languages, and you couldn't quite understand, but the language that was being spoke back to them, you understood, and that was God. That's the gist of it. So there you go. But, go ahead, Marvin, Allen, if you want to call in, 931-994-6917, and that's the number to call in if you'd like to call in. Or, Allen, if you want to beat Allen, Mr. Allen, calling in and telling his encounter. If you want to beat him and you got an encounter or a true story, or just say, "Hey, I'm listening to you from Australia, New Zealand, Czechoslovakia," if you can understand my wild accent, go right ahead. But the one thing that we're going to be doing is expanding and doing more things on this channel. And I think we're about ready to start digging in and getting chasingthetruth.com up and running, but you can't find it, so don't worry about it if you type that in. You can't find it yet. But Terry and I are going to sit down and try to come up with some sort of format to really get my near-death experience out there for you folks. To really kind of give you a sense of what's happening. So I may be producing videos We'll be producing videos in the upcoming future, a lot of them, concerning near-death experience. My near-death experience, which is vast, and I honestly have not, the only person in this world has heard any significant amount of it is Miss Terry. and she has not even heard 5% of it. Now, it's hard to explain something that you encountered that you have no reference to say, hey, it was like this. When I saw or experienced this, it was like this here. The one thing that you can say, or I can say, it was more real over there with the near-death experience in front of God, in front of heaven, in heaven, than it is here. Literally, it was when I came out of the near-death experience and woke up, I was in awe. No pain. Everything was fantastic. And I came back here and actually felt cold. It felt cold, pain, everything back. And as God told me as I was leaving, this is going to hurt. And that was a statement that I have pondered and said, yeah, okay, yeah, you meant it when I said it was going to hurt. Both physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, the whole 9 yards with it. But, yeah. So what are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking tonight? Well, how do you like this show? Is this show template pretty good with the unscreened open lines? So, there's Michael Hensley. What's going on? Psalm 39. How can a guy be awakened to ghosts, but when it comes to UFOs, that's where they draw the line and think that's just ridiculous? People are strange. Well, it's like everybody else. We have our own free will, and to be able to say, hey, I believe this or I believe that, but you believe it from your own particular standpoint and say, well, they haven't lived and seen your life through your eyes. So that would be my rebuttal to that. That's the thing. Gene Fox, Green Mountain Droning. Hey, brother, what's going on? UFOs are here just the same as Ghost and Bigfoot and Dogman. Are they real? Well, I can honestly tell you, I believe I can reiterate that 100%, just like Gene Fox, Green Mountain Droning, has just stated. UFOs are out there, definitely. UFOs are beyond real. And the crazy thing is that little Senate report that the military popped out, that was just cherry-picked little pieces of items, and not only we got swamp gas and failed weather balloon, now we got another balloon that they said they identified. I think that was what that last Senate report was. How long did they put that together? 144 sightings that they said that they could not explain. Okay, what was the other sightings that you could explain that were literally not put in that unclassified report? What was the other ones that you could explain, but for classified material for security of the United States or above? What was it that you could identify, could put in that report? I thought it was laughable. As soon as they said, hey, when President Trump signed into the law, and that was part of the law, to have the U.S. military to pop out the UFO report and say, hey, what are you talking about? What are you doing? What are you seeing? What are you keeping away from us, the lawmakers, the Senate, and the public? I thought, well, hell, all that's going to be is just one frickin', circle jerk. And that's what it wound up being. Now, there's a lot of people will glean a little bit from that report and say, well, they said this and they said that. Well, okay. All I got out of it was 144. We don't know what it is, even though the United States is supposedly the most technically advanced military, the most out there military, the strongest thing on the planet. If you kind of say China's, the second best, you could probably somebody could probably argue on this and say, oh, I don't know. Well, anyway, one of the top military strategic powers that's out there. So, jar of pickles, are the canine prints the size of your hand? Do you have wolves in the area? Oh, somebody's talking about prints. So, Yogi Bear and SpongeBob, Mr. D Knuckle. That the SpongeBob thing was concerning a ghost or some sort of demonic entity that was bugging my little nephew, my grandnephew, so to speak. But no longer bugs him because of Jesus Christ intervened. And that, how long ago has that been, Miss T? That's been over a year ago, year and a half, something like that when that occurred. That was before all this lockdown mess came into being. But anyway, other thing, if you're chasing the truth, if you believe a little 2-cent piece of fiber, cloth, meshed together and hung over your ears is going to protect you from a virus, I got something else to tell you. It won't. And that's coming from a respiratory therapist. It's just a full-fledged booger catcher, more or less. So you sneeze, you're not going to get it all over yours in front of you. But is it going to protect you from a virus? No. A virus looks at a regular surgical mask, or those neck gaiters that we were talking about earlier. Looks at it like a fly or a gnat would look at a chain link fence. Fly right through it and not even bother. Dragon ZW is chasing his tail. That's just the way it is. We're all chasing our tail sooner or later, but this is Unscreened Open Lines, and I ain't got anybody talking to me. So if you ain't talking to me, I'm going to probably have to say nope. I'll have to hang up and say this has been Chasing the Truth, the second go at it on my channel. But we're going to have more to come, not just open lines, more interviews, more of Chasing the Truth. And I'm trying to do some crazy stuff, trying to get this stuff out that people don't like to talk about. There's a lot of people out there, where I was in healthcare. There was so many crazy, believable stories that you would hear in the middle of the night from nursing staff, other ancillary staff. Sure, Marvin. Yeah, go ahead. 5 minutes. I've got. I'm gonna stay on until the top of the hour anyway. What do you think about those deaths? What are you talking about? Those deaths? The 45,000 here in the South that just popped up. Look that up. 45,000, and put in a southern state of your choice. Deaths in Kentucky. I'll have to look that up. I'm not particularly knowledgeable about deaths in Kentucky. Now, there was a death down in eastern Tennessee about, I think it was in April 1st, that we were talking about in the last couple of shows, last 3 shows, that was Dogman, supposed Dogman, but sheriff was involved. 1971, Robbie, let's see. What kind of post did you have there? I'm sorry if I overlooked your thing. Hey guys, as usual, I'm late, but I never gave up. Previous post. Was that you, Robbie, that shared that down in, I think I might have that note here somewhere. On an old post-it note I got on my thing. Let's see. Let's go here and look in the history and see what kind of note. Cook County, Tennessee. Cocke County. Yep, that's the one. Cocke County, Tennessee. A male and a female. April 1st. It didn't get reported until last, I think about 2 weeks ago, really. The male was found dead with, I think he had a lot of what they refer to as dog bites, a lot of injuries to his left arm, but he was dead at the scene. There was a female that literally just about had her arms pulled off, hanging by a thread, and a calf muscle that was just about pulled off. What I think about it is there's a lot of high strangeness to that. Why has it just been muffled and not been reported out and saying, hey, there was a dog attack or whatever? 931-994-6917 is the phone to call. 931-994-6917. So, that being said, folks, that's the phone number that you need to reach out to. But concerning that Cocke County, Tennessee thing, a lot of high strangeness with it. And what they say about that frickin', is it a dog attack or is it something else? Can't be just a pack of dogs going through Appalachian Trail. Maybe it is. I don't know. But that's what's going out there. I think it's a really high strangeness to say that it's Dogman. I have no clue. I didn't see other than a couple of reports from different venues. But it does scream to look into it. Now, are they going to muffle it and kind of, throw it underneath the rug? Yep, absolutely. The guy was, B. Moss says, the guy was seen by his neighbor at 6:30, then 9:30. He was partially eaten. I think he was on a transient. I think he was a transient from what the news reporter, the lady that I saw, said he was a transient, that male. Female, I don't even know she's out of the hospital yet, considering what they said that she had a med flight. In 1971, Robbie says, I'm trying not to call in. That would be unethical with the bet. Unethical. Okay. Well, we don't want to be unethical or be against the law. Don't want anybody to call in and jeopardize something. So don't do that unless you're a whistleblower. Apparently, if you're a military whistleblower, there are protections in place now for that. Wow. May call Saturday if I can get some sleep. Just iffy to talk live now. All right, brother. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. I understand you have entertained me and ruined. You've ruined my internet connection enough with whatever truths you've been trying to get out. There, Steve, Dragon ZW. There has been twice he's called in, and my internet and my connections just literally collapse. Just like that. And you're like, what the hell, brother? What are you trying to get out? No regular dog could eat that much in 3 hours. Well, I think there is more investigation that needs to be had than what they're actually sitting out there and posting. Now, what happened is the sheriff of Cocke County is supposed to come back and report on this. I have not seen anybody post any kind of report that the sheriff of Cocke County is supposed to put out about that particular incident with that male and female. The male died and the female was airlifted with some severe both arms and a leg wound. But now they're saying there's a person of interest in... Hold on just a second. Hey, this is Chasing Truth. Who do I have on board and where are you from?
My name is Marvin Allen.
Hey, Mr. Allen, what's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
And I'm calling in from Baltimore, Maryland.
Turn your audio off, the show off in the background. I can hear my voice in the background. All right.
That better?
Yes, sounds better to me now. Great.
Okay. Yeah, I'm calling out of Baltimore, Maryland, and I've been doing this for a few years now, and I've been blessed. You know what I mean? To have so many people reach out to me and and share their.
Sorry about that.
Hello?
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry about that. I had the audio on from the other Skype. Apologize for that. Go ahead, Marvin. Apologize for that.
That's no problem. You know.
All right.
And like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of years, and I've been blessed and, you know, honored for people to reach out and share their encounters with me. That really means a lot, and I'm still learning.
All right. Well, so what kind of encounters do you have to share with us?
This is a dog man encounter.
All right.
So whenever you're ready, I can start.
Go right ahead, Marvin. Let's hear your dogman encounter.
This encounter right here comes from some witness and asked me not to to reveal their the location of where it happened, and out of anonymity, that's what I do because I'm just honored by them sharing their encounters with me. And this encounter right here, they didn't want to come public at first, because of the background they come up around and, just the people that they was affiliated with. Now, this was my eyewitnesses. This was their first encounter, basically going public. And it was about, it was a dog man encounter, and they didn't want to do it, like I said, out of fear of seeing it again. This took place roughly 14 years ago, when he was a little kid. He said him and his family moved out of the city and moved to a small town, which is called Deer Brook, situated on the outskirts of Antigua, Wisconsin. Their house was surrounded by woods on three sides and a river field in the back. The first year out there was really calm and relaxing, other than constant coyote howls every night. But every so often, there would be a different howl. It was much deeper, much louder, and it was so loud that it would shake us to our core. At first, my parents would dismiss it as a wolf or just a bigger coyote. But something about it seemed off. One night in mid-July, my brother, my sister, and I decided to pitch a tent in the back field along the tree line. We just wanted to go camping. We sat with sticks roasting our marshmallows by the fire till it got really dark. Then the typical howls started up. Then once again, that deep howl was in the back, and it sounded like it was right in our ears. That's how loud it was. It's hard to even guess where it was coming from. So we decided to put out our fire and get in the tent. Later that night, my sister fell asleep. So my brother and I chatted and made jokes. Within minutes, we heard animals running around outside the tent. And then this little raccoon started to claw at the side of the tent that I was sleeping in. And first, I kept just poking at it. But then we heard something else. The crack of sticks from the tree line. At that point, my brother thought it was a bear and told me to be quiet. I then woke my sister up. We started to hear footsteps coming closer and closer. And pretty quickly, they were right next to me. The raccoon just bolted out of there. And Dad started to have this strange odor coming from somewhere. It smelled like copper, sulfur, and a wet dove. It was almost overpowering and made me feel like I could throw up. Then we heard our mom calling us. Now, mind you, as she centered the flashlight on us, it revealed the most unsettling thing I have ever seen. The shadow of this thing was shining through our tent. It was massive. It had pointed ears that was tilted back like a dove on the prowl. And its hands were human looking with long fingers that ended in a point. The mouth was in the shape of a snout, just a little shorter, and it had a mid-sized tail. My mom started to scream, and whatever that thing was, darted back into the woods. And that's when I got a fairly good look at this creature. We rushed inside our house and didn't go back out for a few days. Fast forwarded a few months. I was in the living room with my mom while my sister was in the shower. We were watching Wheel of Fortune or something like that. That's when we could hear my sister scream. And it sounded like bloody murder, like something or someone was being murdered. My mom jumped up and went to go get her. She pulled her out of the bathroom. And I got curious as to why she was freaking out. So I went in to see. Now, above the shower is one of the super small windows that only a small head could fit through. And in this window was a set of red, glowing eyes staring down at me. We stared at each other for what felt like a decade, even though it could only have been a few seconds. I didn't feel fear, but more like curiosity. And I didn't feel like I was in danger at that time. As my mom came in to get me, out the eyes, that's when the eyes turned away as well.
I got one thing. Your microphone is really, really over gain. It's got too much gain on it. Are you using a phone or are you using a microphone?
I'm using a phone. Is it too loud?
You're really peaking. You're really pegging out there.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let me. Is this a little better?
Now you're cracking up and.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Shawn. Hold on.
All right. Well, it's every time your voice would ramp up a little bit, there is it cracks and really gets distorted.
I didn't know if it was cracking up, but hold on. You gave me the number, so what I'm gonna do is I can what's the number again?
931-994-6917.
931
994-6917.
You say 994?
931-994-6917.
6917. All right. I'll just call you from another line.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's another fellow.
That should be better.
Okay, you calling from the 910?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and hang up on that, and I'll answer this one, okay?
Okay, let me, okay, hold on. Let me hang up on,
I'll go ahead and hang up on you, and I'll answer the other one, okay?
On this line right.
All right. Hey, this is Chasing the Truth. Who do I have on board, and where are you coming from?
Marvin Allen.
All right. Yeah, you sound a whole lot better now.
Okay, so you want me to pick up where I left off at?
Yeah, go right ahead. That should be a lot better. Let me take this other
yeah,
side.
it is a lot better. So I should have called from this line anyway. Okay, let me pick up where I left off at. Miss Tyson said, okay, wait a minute.
All right.
Okay. Bad for a minute, I got curious. Okay, I'm gonna just start from right here. Okay, that's when we could, hear my sister scream bloody murder, like someone was being murdered. My mom jumped up and went in to get her. She pulled her out of the bathroom, and I got curious as to why he was freaking out. So I went in to see. Above the shower is one of those super small windows that only a small head could fit through. And in the window was a set of red glowing eyes staring down at me. We stared at each other for what felt like a decade, even though it could only have been a few seconds. I didn't feel fear, but more like curiosity. And I didn't feel like I was in danger. At that time, my mom came in to get me, and out of the eyes turned, that's when the eyes turned away as well. The rest of the night was quiet. After that, a few days later, my brother came back from a school trip. He and I had bunk beds, so I'd always take the bottom bunk. That night was kind of a gloomy night. It wasn't very windy, but there was a light drizzle. Later during the night, my brother and I got woken up by the sound of the window being open. It was locked beforehand. By the way, after that, we just closed it and went back to bed. It happened again and again, like 3 more times. Each time we locked it, but the final time was the worst. It flung open so hard that the glass shattered. And we then saw this thing that pushed it open. That same monstrous hand from the tent. But I could see it clearly now. It had matted black fur, or hair, rather, covering its whole arm. The skin on its palms was like a light tan, and the claws was about 5 to 6 inches long. And on the bottom of the window, I could see his face, or what was shown. It was just the eyes glowing bright red, looking like amber of a ruined fire. My brother and I boarded up, grabbed my sister, and locked ourselves in the back gaming room. We stayed there for the rest of the night. And when my mom came home, we told her and packed our things. We moved out that house in a day or two and took what we could fit, filling out one car in a U-Haul trailer. My stepdad's truck was full as well. And we never, ever returned to this day. My family is scared to talk about it. But my brother and I, sometimes we would have a few drinks and we would discuss it. But my mom just shuts down whenever it's brought up. And that was our encounter.
And that was like 14 years old, that encounter?
Yeah, that was the encounter.
Yeah, from 14 years ago, was that the one you were referring to?
Yeah, that was the one from 14 years ago, Shawn, yeah.
Yeah, all right, Marvin. Well, I appreciate the encounter, and I appreciate the call in. I'm sorry that we had to change up there. The audio was a little bit off on that other phone.
No problem, but now that I know when you go on, then I don't mind calling in because I had just got like 4 or 5 new encounters, so I would love to call in and, share with your listeners and subscribe.
No problem, man.
That wouldn't be no problem.
So what got you into doing this? Did you have your own encounter?
Yes, 2018 in South Carolina. Coming from visiting my cousin daughter, she went to take us some lunch, and I'm a city boy, so I said I'm just basically look for deer. And riding back on the same side, how they would gut trees and cut them out. And it was about, I'm going to say probably about close to a mile of trees missing, but behind there started the tree line up. Now, what set out to me was I saw something black, like black as you could ever see. And at first I'm thinking it's a tree. Now, during this time, it's like we driving in a turn. It's like everything slowed down. And as we got closer, I could see that this wasn't a tree because the ears shot straight up. That's when I could see that this thing had a snout. Now, it was sitting back on its hop with its arms hanging down in front. But by the little brush and grass, I couldn't see the hand. Couldn't see that. But this thing was so muscular that you could see the muscle definition, in its arm.
All right.
Now, on the other side, I noticed that this guy had animals over there. And it stayed focused on these animals. He had cows and all that. It stayed focused on them. This thing did not move. It just like it didn't even blink. It just stayed so still. And that's what really got me into this. Now, when I was about 12 years old, my mother, who was Cherokee Indian, she sat us down one day and she said, well, and I never knew nothing about this stuff because I'm only 12. She said, I'm going to tell you about these huge black doves used to follow me home every day. And my mother said she used to get out of school. Now, mind you, back then she had to travel through the woods just to get to her house. Mm-hmm. And she said that these huge black doves used to walk behind her. Now, mind you, every time she would stop, they would stop. But she said what really, really threw her off about them, she said as soon as she got to her door, she would turn around. And she said that these creatures used to stand up on their back legs. I don't know if they was, what you could say, protecting her, but she said they did this every day clockwork when she got out of school. Now, my niece has seen them, my sister has seen them, my son has seen them, and my granddaughter has seen them.
Wow. Well, nobody's got hurt or attacked or anything like that.
Never got attacked. Now, when I was just in North Carolina, every time I took my granddaughter out, these creatures used to reveal. I mean, they used to show themselves to her because she used to be like, Grandpa, this thing, it showed me his face. So I say, take a picture. And she just turned around with the camera. She started clicking, and she got a good picture. You can see the snout, the face, the eyes, the ears, and everything. Now, one night I was out there at nighttime with 3 of my grandkids. No, 4. And it was dark. So my granddaughter said something told her to look back. When she looked back, right where we were just standing at, she see 2 of them come up out of the brush and start pacing us, following us behind. So I tell my grandkids, y'all walk in front, and I'm going to stay, behind, because if they got to get anybody or do whatever, I'd rather it be me than y'all. So if she wouldn't have never looked back, I don't know what would have happened that night.
Well, I appreciate you calling in.
Look back just in time.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. Any problem. Ain't no problem. Shawn, like I said, though, I don't mind calling in whenever you have shows, though, because, I do have quite a few.
Well,
new encounters that I got. One question I wanted to ask you, right?
Sure.
You know how an animal would dig something out and lay in it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I told somebody about this. I found a spot like that. But what threw me off about it, that this thing had a wall around it, like they could peek over it. And it had to be at least 7 to 8 feet long and 6 to 7 feet wide. I mean, this thing was done perfectly.
Wow. Okay. All right. I have seen dugouts like that. If you got your own pet dog, they do that quite often. I had a little schnauzer that loved to dig out a little hole and lay in it, and then have to bathe her afterwards. But I've seen it out in the woods, definitely. When I went doing a little hunting or whatnot, you definitely see these little beds that they make. That's easy enough to do. That's just common nature. But
right. But it's just the size of it that threw me off.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I know just ain't no regular Doug doing this, and it's like it was perfect. And the wall is what really got me, because I say this thing could be peeking over that and watching people.
Yeah. Well, Robbie over in the chat wants to know. Well, it sounds like these things were protecting them. So, do you think they were protecting you and your family?
You know what? I really do, because, like I said, they never tried to hurt my mother. They never attacked her, but they used to come up, and this is something I never even shared in there, because they used to come up and tap on her window and look in her window. I don't know if they were trying to get her to come out or something like that, because she said that's what they would do all the time. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I don't know what's up with the tapping sound, because I done had a lot of eyewitnesses where these things do that, whether they trying to get their attention or to let them know, oh, I'm here, look at me. That's one thing I don't know. And I also found a nest about 15 feet long and, 8 to 9 feet wide. And one of my members asked me, why didn't I go in there? I'm like, I don't know if it was a young in there. I don't know what was in there, but I wasn't going in there.
Wow. That is impressive. I personally, I know, let's see, a couple of people that have had Bigfoot and Dogman encounters on their own property. And I'm like, why are you still on that property? But I can also see, hey, it's my home, it's my property. What the hell are they doing there? So, yeah, I could see the mentality between the two. So.
And that's the same thing I be saying, Shawn, because I said it's a lot of things that we don't know about these creatures. We can assume and guess, but it's so much that I don't even think we even touch the surface when it comes to these cryptids. Let me ask you one more question. Do you think that they interbreed? Because the guy got pictures that he sent me where it's a Bigfoot and a Doug woman with their offspring.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in Louisiana, and he say they do, you know, intermingle, I guess. Bigfoot and Doug Creek. So I don't know. I thought maybe that's where the Gugwe came from, because it do look like both of them. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Could it be from interbreed?
Well, it depends on where you think these things come from. Are they actually a product of nature? Some of them may be. Are they a product of gene splicing chimera kind of ABC company bringing these things out to bear, and they got released for like a science project, or they escaped from their captors or whatever? Could be. I don't know. But are the, there's another total side of it. Is it paranormal? Are these demonic? There's been a few people I've talked to that think they are demonic for sure. No doubt about it.
You're absolutely right about that, because they think that the goat man is demonic. The rake is demonic. Now that's something I don't want to say is the rake.
Oh yeah.
I did encounters on them, but that's something I don't never want to run into. Is one of those things, and could they be killed? I'm sure that maybe they can, but I don't know nobody that really produced the body yet.
All right. True enough. Well, it depends on. You go back in the 1800s, and you see all these newspaper clips of these giant skeletons that our government went out and collected from up in Canada and all over the United States, and they kind of whisked them away. Where the hell did they go?
Absolutely right.
Yeah, where the hell did they go?
And they always go to the Smithsonian, but they always say there's no such thing as giants. But they got all the bones.
Well, that's true. You never know what's out in the Smithsonian or what's out in the Catholic churches, bowels of their cathedrals. What's underneath there? What's in their vaults?
Right.
You never know. Is there a group?
Shawn.
Is there a military group or some black budget group that goes out and literally has their ear to the floor? John Bell, a friend of mine that does dogmancams.com, he said that when he was in military training, he said he was told to listen to old Art Bell show.
Wow.
When he was in military training, that kind of stuff. And you're like, well, why in the hell would you want to listen to that if there's nothing real to that? And it kind of behooves you to kind of wonder, well, is there something to that?
Right. Shawn, what do you think about the LBL and the murders? Because I heard the story change at least 4 or 5 times over the years. Some people say they did recover a cryptid, and some people say they didn't.
The land between the lakes, there is so many. I believe there are some Bigfoot dogman stuff out there because you can just look at the map. That's about maybe a 3 hour drive from me. I'm right on the border of Kentucky, on the Virginia side of it, and there is so much happening. There's a guy that over in Whitesburg, Kentucky, that I've been subscribed to his channel, and he's quit doing anything about these Bigfoot that's on his property because he's afraid that he goes out and he just had a second kid, and he's like, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to put my life at risk, and then do something. If I die or get hurt and then it affects my family, he quit doing it. He's like, no, I can't do it anymore. Now, the LBL stuff, is it possibility? Sure, absolutely. The Mammoth cave systems stretch all over the place. So what's on top?
That's huge. That is huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
Mammoth cave is huge.
Yeah, the system, it even stretch over, fingers of it stretches over into Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee. I would dare to say it's probably in North Carolina, if you really look at it. And, if you had somebody says, yeah, I believe so, maybe, or whatever, there's a lot underground that is definitely not in our view. That's for sure. Are they, escaping underground and traveling from one place to the other, not above ground, but below ground? Sure. I will absolutely believe that. The LBL's got a lot of lakes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the land between lakes has a rich, robust, cryptid storytelling history. Are they some that have been really blown out of proportion? Yeah, and there's no doubt about it. Hell, every time you heard a bass story, the bass will grow a few inches every time the story is retold. That's just human. That's just human nature. That's just human nature. So, are there some out there that's really, more creepypasta than real? Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I have absolutely heard creepypasta being told as, "Hey, this is real," and you're like, "No, I don't believe so." But that's part of the chasing the truth. You throw it out, and you allow people to tell their story, and it's up to the listener, up to the person on the other end of this that's listening to this, saying, "Well, yeah, I believe so." No, I don't believe that shit at all.
Right. And that's what I tell people, Shawn. I say, you know what? You don't have to believe me. Do your own research.
Oh, yeah.
Do your own research and see what you come up with. Don't take my word. You don't have to believe nothing I say. Do your own research and see what you come up with. And I was on Venomous Friends one time, and it got to me, the question said, well, they say, Marvin, what do you think about the missing 411 when it comes to these cryptids? And I told them, I said, and it's just for me. Ain't nobody got to agree with me or not. I said, but this just for me. I said, there's no way I'm going to sit here and blame Doug Man, Goat Man, Rick, whatever you want to throw out there for taking these people. Because I just said, we don't have no proof.
True.
I don't know nobody that got a picture or video of these creatures taking somebody. In order to blame somebody, you got to have proof. Until we can produce the evidence, then we can say, okay, that's what's taking them. But until then, I'm right there where I always been. I don't know, and I'm not going to say that they've taken them.
True enough. That's the LBL is such a popular hotbed of cryptid stories, and a lot of people, now once TV crews start going in there, and you kind of wonder how much is it going to be polluted. Do you go back to the days of Ghost Hunters, that TV show? A lot of that was fake because of producers. You get all this, these TV crews to go in there. And the LBL, and I know that there are a few out there that are going in there now and filming now. How much of that is going to be just outlandish, hearsay, or just, we got to do this to make this, or we got to fake this to, get that evidence that we want to do that wow factor if we're going to produce a TV show or a movie or a documentary. That being said, you got to take a lot of grain of salt and do your own research, and really, if you're a religious person, say, hey, God, is this true, or whatever higher power that you believe in, and talk to, that kind of stuff. But yeah, LBL, I think there's something to all those stories. Do I believe a lot of them blow up? Yep. Do I believe a lot of them are just plain outlandish creepypasta? Shit, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. He's gone. He called back. All right. There you are again.
Yeah, my bad, Shawn.
That's all right.
Well, my bad.
That's all right. Our conversation is about ready to end anyway. But
I know, but like I said, so appreciate you talking to me, and like I said, I'm still learning more and more that I can about these creatures and these cryptids. Like I said, we ain't even touched the surface. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
We need it. I think if we can come together instead of bickering and going against each other, I got the best channel. And no, it's not about that. It's enlightening the people out there that's not aware of these creatures and making them aware.
Yeah,
whether they want to take it and whether they want to take it and believe it or not.
True
At
enough.
the end of the day, it's about helping someone.
Absolutely.
Because if I can save a person's life, and don't go in here You know what I mean? Because it's dangerous. If I can save somebody's life, then I feel as though I did my job.
Absolutely. Well, if you're a city dweller and you think, well, I'm going to go out here hunting Bigfoot, and you haven't stepped a toe in anything that looks like woods, you know, buddy or lady or whoever you may be, you know, stepping out there and all you know is apartments and street corners, and you go out in the middle of the woods, you might as well just say, nope, I'm not going out there, because there's a lot more out there than you even know about, other than Bigfoot, dogmen, and the other cryptids that might be out there. There's rattlesnakes, copperheads, moonshiners, folks. The places that Bigfoot and these dogmen thing, moonshiners are all out. That was the one thing my dad cautioned me on. He said, if you see any signs of a moonshine still, you backtrack, you turn around and step in the tracks that you came in, because if they really want to protect their site, or drug sites, pot growers back in the day when I was a kid, you know, they would literally either wound you, maim you, take your eyes out with fish hooks hanging from tree limbs and stuff to get, you know, keep you from finding their still site or other illegal pot growing stuff back in the day. So that being said, you know, there's other people out there, not just Bigfoot, dogmen, and whatnot, that's, you know, out there to do something. You know, there's that missing 411 that's so popular. You know, the storylines and stuff like that they never talk about. There's how many bodies are missing out in the United States forestry that, you know, we'll never find out. And they got deposited there for a good reason. Who knows?
You're absolutely right, Shawn. And another thing, though, what I was going to say before we go, I wanted to say something. Do you think all of these creatures are evil?
When it comes to dogman, I tend to believe that they are got a healthy dose of negativity about them. Evil, sure, absolutely. Bigfoot, you know, if you talk to my girlfriend, she believes they are put upon this face of the earth to protect humans, in whatever way that is. You know, I've had so many stories, 2 stories up in Canada from 2 different people on either end of Canada. Tell me about the same story. They were a kid, got lost in the forest, and this stinky ape / hairy creature led them back to either their lost grandfather or a search party that was searching for him. Now, that being said, that's just an anecdotal tale to prove a point. Are there evil Sasquatch out there that would rather not have any interactions with you, like on the West Coast in the Washington State mountains? There's supposed to be some pretty mean Bigfoot out through there. But from the tales I've told.
And plus up in Washington State, they say they get so big.
Oh, yeah, true enough. But Marvin, I appreciate you calling in, brother. Anytime you want to call in, you're more than welcome.
Hey, and like I said, though, I know that you go on, every Thursday?
Well, not every Thursday. I usually go Saturday nights. I'm trying to find a good date to lock in on this channel on Chasing the Truth, Shawn G. Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time, I go live on Dark Waters on his YouTube. I'm on the Dark Waters channel over on Paranormal Radio app right now live, along with my channel right now. But, but every Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time, I usually do open lines. I'm about ready to hit a couple of guests here after this weekend. So I'll mix it up. Live call-ins with Unscreened, which nobody's doing. Nobody takes unscreened calls. They usually screen them and kind of vet them out a little bit, talk to them in chat, and say, "Oh yeah, bring it on," or they just don't say, "Hey, call me, give me your cold calls." That's about it. But Marvin, I appreciate you calling in, brother. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. I'll make sure keep track of when you do go live, man, so I can call in.
All right, I appreciate it, brother. Have a good one.
All right, you too, my buddy.
See you. All right, Marvin Allen, he's got a YouTube channel over there. Go on and find him out. Marvin Allen is the name of his YouTube, I'm assuming. Sounds like he's got a pretty good storytelling way of telling stories, Dogman and Bigfoot cryptid encounters, that kind of stuff. Crazy. Dragon ZW, hey buddy. Roy's, my man, what's going on over there? Zwickle, hey, what's up? Well, it's good to see ya. Well, where are you at, Zwickle? Are you on the road right now, or did you just pull off on a rest stop, or what's going on there? And let's see, who else is in here in this chat? I'm going to give the last 3 minutes, just say, hey, I'm not going to take any more calls. I'm just going to say, nope, I'm done with the calls for tonight because we're 2.5 hours into it. Had a great show. Had a little lull there where I told a couple of good stories. Let's see, I had Marvin Allen. Had, that was interesting. As soon as we got his audio thing fixed out with the right phone line there. Let's see, we had Paranormal Security, 9886 Josh Runyon in there for a little bit, and I want to play these two EVPs from Josh Runyon real quick, just kind of bump, kind of throw that out there and say, hey, this was live 2 years ago, and a security guard by the name of Josh Runyon run into a chapel / mausoleum, whatever you want to call it, to do a security check. And this is what he got in return as he's walking in.
I'm really not sure what's going on here. Nope. Yeah, I'm done. This is some spooky going on here. Nope. All right, that was Josh Runyon from a couple years ago. I think that was on his TikTok channel, which I think is now changed to Paranormal Security 98. And then he is in Savannah, Georgia, and he's got a little place called Woods that's, an old graveyard that the only way you can tell there's graves there are field stones. So, that being said, this is what he captured with a buddy of his when he did a ghost hunt out there in this woods where I think a lot of transients, they have to clear out the transients every once in a while through there. But this is the old graveyard wood scenario, and they went out there and they caught this. Now listen closely. You'll hear some whispering chanting.
I think it's a demon, honestly. I'm not fucking crazy, but I don't have my earpiece in. But do you hear that?
Well, you may have not. Hold on just a second. That was, I actually had a audio different problem here, and I had to put in a filter. Let me go fix that filter real quick. Audio on my end will probably get a little lousy, but hold on just a second. Let me go over here and fix that. Let me turn that off, turn this off. All right, I'm going to replay that so you can listen to it, and you should be able to hear the whispering this time. I don't think you were able to listen to the whispering, but here we go.
I think it's a demon, honestly. I'm not fucking crazy, but I don't have my earpiece in. But do you hear that? Yes, I hear.
All right. Well, that's the end of that. I just had permission to give those two EVPs up. Thanks, Josh Runyon, Paranormal Security 9886, Paranormal Security. Josh Runyon. Thank you, sir, for calling in. Thank you to Connor Floyd from Bigfoot Anonymous. He was the first caller. Wow, I can't believe I actually had all those people just call in and give such a fantastic review, fantastic storytelling from those three gentlemen. Interesting to say the least. And am I going to do this again next week on my own channel? Yeah, I don't know if I'm kind of in between doing it Wednesday nights, maybe not Thursday nights. I've been talking over with Wes, my producer, and saying, hey, when would be a good time to do, other than Saturday nights, what would be a good time to do these live shows? Wednesday nights or maybe Thursday nights? And he's leaning toward Wednesday nights, and we'll get my lady Terry, Miss T, weighing in, and we'll finally she and I will finally make a decision on that.
And we'll definitely, as the time goes on, we'll be definitely adding more love to this channel, Chasing the Truth Shawn G. And if you do feel like it, and if you feel like you like to donate to this channel, you can't do this for free, unfortunately. I wish I could, but you just can't do it. You can donate to either my PayPal or a Cash App, if you feel up to it. The links are in the description if you feel the need to do that, and I appreciate it if you do it. If you don't, just listen and hit the like button over there on Chasing the Truth, and subscribe if you like what you hear. And this Saturday night, I will be live again on Dark Waters channel on his YouTube, along with uprntalkradio.com down in New Orleans, 107.7 FM down there. And also on the Paranormal Radio app, as I am right now, on the Dark Waters channel over there. Appreciate everybody. I really do. God has blessed me with that, with being able to talk to you. And Psalm 39, actually, the guy that's there, I'm assuming you're a guy. If you are, I apologize. If you're not, I apologize if I misspoke there. But I pulled up something that from Psalm 39:7. And so the Lord, where do I put my hope? My only hope is in you. Psalm 39:7. And that's absolutely the truth. God is. And the last few shows I've been ending with a prayer, and I think that's probably the way to do it. I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do. Dear God in heaven, thank you for this opportunity to reach out to all the folks, share those truths that they feel they need to share. Please bless Connor. Please bless Paranormal Security 9886, Josh Runyon. And bless all the other people that have called and spoke. Marvin Allen. Please bless him. Bless all the participants in the chat. Keep them safe from all evil entities, demonic, extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, interdimensional, you name it. If it's out for the worst for the soul of man, run the souls of man. Please, God, I plead the blood of Jesus Christ on them. Each and every one of them, please bless this show. Bless those that are going to listen to this show in the future. Keep them safe and sound. Keep my house safe and sound. And bless it and rebuke anything that I've before mentioned. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Folks, I appreciate you listening in. I appreciate each and every one of you that has participated in the chat. Zewickle, Roids, X. Well, let's see, who else we got? Dragon ZW. There was several others. I want to just give you a couple of good shout-outs real quick. Psalm 39, Christina H., Larry, and Candace. Wow. I hadn't seen you before. Then welcome. Holly Bailey. Oh, let's see who else we got in here. We got JL Happy. Thank you for being in there. All the wrenches that are in there. B Moss, definitely look up B Moss and her cryptid Facebook site. I can't remember. It's Cryptid Normal. But she dropped a couple of links in the chat there. Lorena, all you fine folks out there, if I missed saying howdy to you in this, please definitely drop a like, drop a comment if you listen to this afterwards. Say, hey, I like you, or hey, I don't like you, or your southern accent just sucks, or whatever you want to say. But please, at least like it and share it out if you like it. If you love it, subscribe. And I think that's about it. That's about all I got to talk about this Thursday. Now, next week it may be on Wednesday. I think I'm going to try Wednesday next week. Same back time, same back channel. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. And let's pull this thing up and get... Well, where the heck is it? I just love doing this because there's always something different here. Something weird going on in the background. But here we go. Thank you, folks. God bless each and every one of you. If you want to reach out, Shawn G at imdarkwaters.com, 931-994-6917, or Chasing the Truth 18. Or, yeah, Chasing the Truth in 2018, I think is the actual thing. 2018. Chasing the Truth on Skype. But that's it. I'm out here. And let's do this and chase the truth next time.
Do ghosts really exist? Are we alone? Is there life after death?
It looks like a giant ape with a man's face.